Hi, everybody. This is Nabila Rahman. I'm the Digital Transformation Strategist in United News of Bangladesh, UNB, and I've been holding leadership roles in the tech industry for many years. And this is our first 2023 webinar. I'm very excited. And it's actually our 9th webinar, the Tech Collective. We started exactly a year ago, last Jan, and this is just a full circle. It's 1 year. Sam and I have been doing this, and it's been a great journey and adventure. And today I'm very excited because we've been bringing in all foreign and companies and thought leaders on NFTs to metaverse. And today I'm very excited and proud to actually host a Bangladeshi app and portal called Ami Probashi. We all know the highest earning incomes come from remittance from migrant workers for Bangladesh. And in 2021 to 2022, Bangladeshi businessmen and workers sent about 64.70 million remittance to Bangladesh. Ami Probashi is a government-approved mobile app and web portal that assists aspiring Bangladeshi migrants in gaining employment abroad by engaging all stakeholders. Users can complete mandatory government processes from the comfort of their homes, avoid middlemen, save cost, and gain autonomy within the migration process. Foreign employers and recruiting agents can leverage the Ami Probashi recruitment management system to swiftly fulfill your recruitment needs from Bangladesh. If you like our webinar, please like, share, and comment. And like always, I'm very excited for Samuel Bretzfield to take over. He's a tech entrepreneur living in Bangladesh for many years and will be co-hosting with me this webinar. Sam, very excited to have you again. And this is our first year of the Tech Collective that we've been doing. So thank you for doing this with me. And also please introduce our very special guest. Thank you.
Thanks, Nabila. I am so excited. Happy New Year 2023. It's going to be a great year, but very, very excited to be here again for the audience. My name is Sam Bretzfield. I'm a tech entrepreneur living in Bangladesh for close to 20 years. Really excited to have all of you with us today to talk about a really compelling platform and application that's literally helping out millions of people here in Bangladesh. Just to kind of put some context into this conversation and for our foreign viewers, Bangladesh exports a tremendous amount of laborers to many markets around the world, from the Middle East, Malaysia, different parts of Asia, you name it. And that process for these migrants to get their approval, get their travel documents, even find jobs in some of these markets is very difficult. And we're talking tens of millions of people. And so Amar Pradeshi, which is the app that we're speaking about today, and our dear guest Namir, who is the CEO, is going to explain to us how they are revolutionizing and fixing a lot of the friction to get these migrants from Bangladesh to these other parts of the world. So Namir, thank you so much for taking the time. We're finally able to get this on the books. Really happy that you're here to join us today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nabila. Thank you very much, Sam, for that lovely introduction. I think you guys captured what Ami Probashi is in an absolute great nutshell. If I could just add to that, we're a very new company. We started about a year and a half ago. And me and my partner, we started with one vision. It wasn't about government services, or it wasn't about job placement. But the entire idea started when there was a crisis going on in Libya. And our Bengali recruitment workers who were in Libya were stranded, and there was no way for people to communicate with them. There was no way for the government to reach out to them. There was no way for them to reach their consulate for support. So we thought, why can't we have a platform where people are onboarded before they leave to work for another country? And that way, if anything happens, if there's ever a bulletin that needs to be made, or if there's ever an urgent situation where they need help and support, the government has a way to contact them. Private companies have a way to contact them. NGOs who do great work in Bangladesh have a way to contact these our migrant workers as well. Once they leave the country, that all communication ceases to exist, and we don't know what they're doing. We don't know what kind of support they need. We don't know when they come back. So the first step for our mission was to onboard everyone leaving abroad onto one singular platform that we can deliver value-added services after they get abroad. So that's how Amir Prabashi started conceptually. Since then, we were thinking about what is the best way to first onboard people onto the platform. And the way we've done that is by revolutionizing the local recruitment process. At the moment in Bangladesh, before you go anywhere, there's about 8 or 9 steps of the government processes that you need to complete. Now, before Amir Prabashi started, all these government processes were manual, they were analog, meaning you had to go from office to office, filling out forms, meeting different people, different days, and you never had one conceptual idea of your journey abroad. You could never really figure it out. It was not done in an organized way. So we thought, let's come in and make a journey map for them that they can easily follow, and not only follow, complete this journey map for their mandatory processing on one singular app. So that's what Amir Prabashi envisioned to do to onboard people onto the platform. At the moment, we've started with 4 or 5 different government services that they can complete from the comfort of their homes. They don't need to take a day off work to do these processes. They are allowed to complete these forms, these applications, these training courses from their mobile phones. And when the time is right and they're ready and they know enough about their journey, they can contact recruiting agencies and employers directly from the phone. They can search for jobs, and they are finally getting some courage to do this entire journey by themselves and not depending on middlemen, not depending on agents, and kind of taking their journey in their own hands and having the ability to perform all these necessary steps by themselves without the help of a third party or an agent.
That's a fantastic overview. Now tell me, how many migrants are leaving Bangladesh a year and seeking employment abroad?
So last year, it was around 1.1 million people. There was a bigger flux of people going because of COVID. A lot of the actual journey was stopped for like 4 or 5 months. No one was able to travel. So after that, we had a big outflow of people going abroad. So 2022, there was 1.1 million people leaving to work before. Wow. Year before that, it was around 800,000. The current upcoming year, the prediction from the government and BMET, which is the Bangladesh Bureau of Employment, is around 1.3 million. So there's a steady increase of about 10 to 15% every year of aspiring migrant expatriate labor. People are going abroad and more markets are opening up. Malaysia just opened up about 6 months ago. Already around 40,000 migrant workers have gone to Malaysia for work. So as new countries are opening up, the robust nature of expatriate migration from Bangladesh is just rising, and it's going to continue to rise as more countries open up.
So Namir, tell me, so what kind of jobs are most of these 1.3 million people taking abroad? Are they mostly like construction jobs? Are they, what, just kind of give us a flavor of the type of people that are migrating, and then also tell us about how much money they're remitting back to Bangladesh and why that's so important.
Yeah, so the first part of the question, at the moment, unfortunately, is still unskilled labor as the predominant cluster of people going abroad. So it's like construction worker, which I wouldn't count as unskilled labor, but it still is. Maids, helpers, cleaners, agricultural workers, plantation workers, factory workers. Manual labor is, I would say, 70 to 80% of it. Then there are some more niche elements to it as well, like drivers, motorcycle drivers, delivery drivers, and more and more technical skills as well, like welders. We have a huge population of welders who go abroad to do a lot of the construction stuff in Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Malaysia. So it's a spectrum definitely of the skills that people have before they go, but predominantly it would be manual labor.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, all these people are working these jobs in these different countries, and then they're sending money back to Bangladesh, which is considered an inward remittance, which helps support Bangladesh's GDP, right?
Yeah, not just GDPs. Like if you look at any kind of project that needs to happen in Bangladesh, our LC facility, everything is propped up by remittance. So, we have a kind of a healthy outlook in terms of our balance sheet purely because of remittance. And it's not to do with garments. And this is a complete net positive for us in terms of our trade flow. So this is a very unique aspect of our robust economy that we have to keep making sure that it flourishes.
Sure.
But there is another element to it as well, that there's actually flight of capital before they go abroad, because the sad reality is that people are purchasing visas before they're going abroad. So there is a bit of flight of capital as well going out, but then that is aggregated for like 1-2 years of people sending money back home.
Right.
So there's a lot of positives as well.
How much money are we talking about here? Are we talking hundreds of millions, billions of dollars a year that are coming back?
So last year officially, so there are like 2 channels of remittance, one that is official, another that is not through the banking channel. So from the banking channel alone, last year it was around $21 billion.
Wow.
$21 billion. And then the other flip side of it, where people are doing cash transaction, doing the hawala mechanism, people who don't have bank accounts, who are not using the legal channels, it could be another 20 billion easily.
Wow. And these people are obviously sending money back to their families to help support them and so on and so forth. That's fantastic.
I mean, the biggest reason they leave the country is to help their families out. I mean, they sell their land and everything so that the family back home can have a good life. So it's bigger than garments. It's the number one. I mean, that's how the remittance is our number one way we earn our money.
It is absolutely bigger than garments in terms of a pure balance sheet for the country. But what is sad at the moment and why we entered the market is the migration cost is very high. Like you said, people are selling their land to go abroad. We obviously think that the price of migration is too much. Some people are spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to get abroad.
Wow.
So there's a definite problem within this economy. It's a demand-led economy. We have millions and millions of people who want to go abroad, and there's only a few placements available. So the nature of that is that people start bidding for these placements, which is the main reason why you see such extortionate migration costs, because you're basically having to go there and procure the visa, procure your position. So there's 10 jobs available, 100 people going for it, and you're outbidding each other to get the job. And sometimes you've paid so much money, you're not actually making that money back in 2-3 years of working abroad. Wow. So in Amir Prawashi, that is our priority as well, to give them some kind of an ROI calculator. But this is your actual salary. This is the type of job you have. If you're spending $5,000 to go abroad, are you ever going to make that money back? Because a lot of the tragedies that happen in this industry is because of misinformation. People are sold this narrative that you're going to go there, earn tons of money, and you're going to recover this $5,000 you just spent on securing the visa. Sometimes that is not the fact. And it's our job as a private company, as a collaboration with the ministry, to give them accurate information and dissuade them from bad decisions.
Right. And so we can look at this this platform as, hey, I'm a recruiter, or I'm an employer or a company in one of the markets. I can go onto the platform. I'm able to see profiles and almost do kind of like have like a marketplace of different types of people and skills. And then on the flip side, your app is also, streamlining the process for folks not to be taken advantage of, to streamline the bureaucratic process of, getting all the right paperwork and their visas and so forth. That's fantastic. How many users are using the platform at this point?
At the moment, we have total downloads of nearly 5 million users. So it's around 4.7 at the moment. Again, we started maybe a year and 3 months ago. So we've had a significant increase in user engagement as we add more and more products on Amir Prawashi. So we started off with one product. Now we're expanding. People are seeing the use case. More people are flocking to it. And what's most important is I think we've been able to kind of inbuild some kind of trust within the platform where people think that this is reliable. This is an easier way to do my government processes. Maybe I can find an authentic job here. So our goal for the first couple of years is to deliver unique products that they've never seen that they never had the opportunity to use in Bangladesh before.
You know, what's fascinating to me is like the migrant workers, because when we think about migrant workers and the construction workers, you think that maybe they're not very educated, right? But the fact that they're using the app is like, wow to me, because I'm not expecting them to be well-read or literate enough to be able to go fill out forms. I mean,
that's a misconception. That's a total misconception. And I would have thought the same as well. But the fact of the matter is, if you go to Italy, you go to Milan, there are Bengalis who migrated there 6 months ago and are speaking near to fluent Italian. So as a race, as a people, I think Bengali people are one of the most enterprising people in the world. We're one of the most hardworking people in the world. And opportunity, they will seize it. And, you know, look at Bikash, look at all these companies. People internalized it. Even someone, old grandma from a village now knows how to use Bikash. And it's not the most simplest UI, or it's not the simplest process, but they have a need for it. They've learned how to do it. And we want to reach a similar situation where our app is so pivotal, it's so important for the migrant journey that anyone learns how to use it. And of course, we're going to try to make it as easy as possible for them to use.
What are the biggest markets of where Bangladeshis are going? Is Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, UAE, Qatar? So primarily the Middle East and Europe. You said Italy. Anywhere else in Europe?
So Italy, UK, you know, all across Europe, we have this macroeconomic problem of shortage of labor. People are not working in Europe. You can't find people to do farming job, agriculture jobs. So once the European Union and the UK kind of eased the policy, their regulations and how many people they can take in, there's going to be a huge flow of people going to different European countries. I know Romania is now open. People are going to Romania from Bangladesh. Romania is having a huge demand for Bengali workers. Italy is always there. Italy has an allocation of taking 4,000 to 5,000 farmers from Bangladesh each year. Other countries are following suit, and the entire world has a shortage of labor at the moment, you know, especially the West. And, you know, people can see that as a net negative, but we don't. So I think a lot of opportunities are ahead. And even countries like China, they want to take people from Bangladesh.
And is in your app, all these countries you mentioned, the recruiters will be able to find you? Are you?
Yes.
So is there all these countries you mentioned, the recruiters, the agencies, they will be able to find you?
So any employer in the world can go to the Namir website, log on to the portal, we'll give them credentials. If they're a genuine recruiter or a genuine employer, after they submit their documents on the portal, we'll give them full credentials and they can post jobs in Bangladesh. They can apply for their attestation, which is like another government process that happens in the Bangladesh High Commission size in the source country. So say you're in Romania, you can apply for your Romanian attestation documents to the Bangladesh High Commission in Romania via the portal. So we're also linked up with all the Bangladeshi High Commissions abroad, and they're using our platform to do these processes. After you get that done, after you get your demand letters placed, you can start sourcing candidates from Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm. And you're also providing training, is that right? So there's
we don't provide any training ourselves. We're like a marketplace for people who want to provide training. So at the moment, in terms of pre-departure orientation, which is a mandatory course, we launched the online booking and pre-departure online attendance and certification via the app. So you can download your certificate. You don't have to wait 7-8 days to get your paper certificate. It all happens instantly. As soon as you do your attendance, which you do on Amin Prabashi, you go there, you scan your Amin Prabashi QR code enrollment card. You do that course for 3 days, automatically you get your certificate. We've done that nearly 600,000 times in the last 3 months.
Well, in the last 3 months, I mean, just think about the lives that you're helping change and the people that, you know, that are going abroad. This is fantastic. So
I mean, Sam, it's just ridiculous that we want to go to see a movie and we can book a movie ticket online. And I need to do this course to go abroad and I have to go stand in line somewhere and wait weeks to do my training. It's absolute nonsense.
That is nonsense.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think, that's the problem. You're solving that problem. You're doing it in a really big way. How long has the company been in business for? And how long have you guys been doing this?
So the conception started around 2 years ago. Me and my partner Tariq Bhai, who's also the managing director of Banglatrack Group. So Amin Prabashi is a subsidiary of Banglatrack Group. I'm a director of Banglatrack Group, and we have a range of tech product, utilities product, mainly where the Caterpillar dealers. We have power plants, but we have a big tech wing as well that focuses on these kind of innovations. So this is our baby, and we thought of it. And operations in terms of going live, it's been just over a year and
Wow.
2 months.
You've seen some like rocket growth and in a really
Yeah, and also the services we provide is not it has a lot of interfacing with other entities. Like I was talking about pre-departure orientation, we had to make sure that every technical training center in Bangladesh that offers that course logs onto our portal and uploads the classes there. That is no small feat.
Sure.
Like we're doing the online working, but we have to go and train them to use our portal, to upload the classes, to do the grading on our system, to do the attendance on our system. So it's a very kind of integrated platform where we have the app for the users and we have the software for the employers, the technical training centers, the NGOs, the government. And our main chunk of our intellectual bandwidth or resource bandwidth of this company goes on building the backend software.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. So let's back up really quick. You talked about, policy, European Union policy, and how, things need to open up a little bit. What other policy level challenges do you guys face, both here in Bangladesh, but then also abroad as well? And if you had the magic ball to change things, what would you change?
Well, first, I will start with the recruiting agencies. I think the recruiting agencies play a pivotal role in Bangladesh, and they never get the credit for it. That you always hear they're scalping the migrant workers, et cetera, et cetera. The actual scalping is happening from the migrant worker who's maybe living in a village somewhere, and the recruiting agencies who are based in Dhaka. By the time he's coming from the village to the actual company in Dhaka, he's already lost a couple of $1,000 changing hands with the middleman. So the real scalping happens there. And our job as Amir Prabashi was to connect the authentic recruiting agencies directly with the end customer so they can communicate and save this middleman cost. So the recruiting agencies are doing a tremendous job in terms of foreign marketing. We're not the ones doing foreign marketing. They're the ones going out there, going to different countries, pitching Bangladesh skilled labor, and making sure those employers place those demands to their companies. So for them, the government should give them more support. They should give them more benefits like they do garments companies. Garments companies in Bangladesh are now hailed as the heroes of Bangladesh. But what about these recruiting agencies who are literally propping up the entire economy? They should get the same benefit. They should get exporters credit. If I want to do a trade show in Italy for a recruitment company in terms of what Bangladesh has to offer, I'm not even allowed to spend more than $12,000 to set it up. So these kind of policies are detrimental to our marketing effort. And we have to take this as an industry, and we can't take it as something that should be shunned, should be looked down upon in the industry. And recruiting agencies need a lot more government support. And then the government also needs to kind of cut red tape where possible. And I mean actual physical processes that are just completely useless and they don't need to exist. And I know for a fact that the current ministry and then the prime minister and everyone, they're trying to make business as easy as possible. And as soon as we realize this is a business and we kind of do away with some of the bureaucracy that's there, the easier someone can go abroad. Like before we came into the picture, the time it took someone to get a job placement and to actually get his flight was around 2 months. That's because he's spending 2 months doing government processes. So we're not being very competitive compared to, like, say, Indonesia, who's sending someone in 10, 15 days. It's a snappy process. So the government has a lot to do in terms of easing, making sure the process of doing their mandatory processes is easy and quick and efficient, and not not corrupt. And,
Well, I mean, so we kind of start thinking about, exterior markets outside of Bangladesh. What's kind of the vision and what's the goal, and what are you trying to accomplish? I mean, I can understand, getting the word out there for recruiters and employers in different markets that are looking for our labor, right? But how else can the platform help, and what's kind of the longer term vision there?
Yeah, so the longer term vision for Amin Prabashi is very data driven. Like even how we managed to incorporate the government entities in Bangladesh and the Ministry of Expatriate Welfare was completely driven by data analytics. So all our users, we show the government exactly where they are, what they want to do, what skills do they have, what are their preferred countries, and then the government can target training and courses on those areas. So I'm sure we'll see some slides later where we have such in-depth data about skills, preferences, a bucket list of inputs that the government can then analyze, and we obviously analyze it for them, for how to target training, how to target education, how to target loan applications and giving loan support for before they want to go abroad. So this is the lens that we look at when we want to export it to another country, say Nepal or Indonesia. It has to be data-driven. And Amin Prabashi's real value is in the data analytics. So we want to showcase to Nepal or say Indonesia what can be done by the government to kind of improve the expatriate laborers or migrant workers' lives, and how to pinpoint them, target them, help them, and deliver services to them right to their doorstep. So when we want to approach other countries, that is our main goal, to show the benefits of having accessibility to your entire workforce.
Good. What's the percentage of people, like when we think about age distribution, are these mostly young folks, older folks, and what's the kind of the spread between women and men? Is it more male?
So it's completely tilted. So like the majority of people that go abroad are male from Bangladesh. I'd say around 85-15. And it's mainly from 25 to 40.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the age range. Education levels is always on the lower side. So all these analytics we provide to the government for free. We provide to anyone for free who would like to access the workforce from Bangladesh.
Yeah, this analytics, I think, is bold, what you're doing, because, now that we're going to be a middle income country that we're talking about, right? Now, and our skill level should also go up a little bit here, like we are doing the blue collar jobs with the constructions and all the drivers and the cleaners. But with this analytics and a very young workforce that we have in Bangladesh with an educated force, I think the next year, like the Philippines and Indonesia, they have nurses going, more women going, teachers going, right? So
Correct.
There could be, with this analytics, and if the government also and other entities take part of this analytics and understand with the age group and the demographic, where can we go, given that we are going to be middle income, right? With the nursing, with the teacher, the profession going up a little bit, a tier, then of course, this is also an honorable job. No job is not good enough, especially when it's making earnings and everybody is improving their lives. But then with the educated classes, which we are getting educated, people are getting educated. I think this data that Amin Prabashi is doing is going to be gold mine for the government and other NGOs and other, people who are actually looking at upskilling.
Absolutely. So like just a little example, when we do our data analytics for the training courses and pre-departure orientation, we see there's such a huge interest in computer sciences, computer technology. So that kind of indicates to the government that maybe they should have more of these courses, or even to our private partners like BRAC, who has a lot of training courses on Amin Prabashi. They use our portal as well. It indicates to them that what areas do they need to upskill on. So we need to upskill our economy. I don't believe that the upskilling of the economy is done solely by the government. It has to be a private and public effort together. So we want to work in this kind of synergy where we give our platform to private companies and governments to target upskilling our labor migrant workforce.
Well, it's going to help everybody, though. I mean, if the private sector starts investing in upskilling, what's going to happen? More money is going to be remitted back. People are going to get better incomes to be able to support their families.
More spending,
More spending. It's a win-win-win all the way around. And
and another point that's very important to us, because you mentioned remittance, is that Another real pain point of our company is that when people go abroad, they send money back for 5, 6, 7 years. But when they come back to Bangladesh, they have nothing. They have no credit history. No one knows they've transacted a dollar, but they've been sending money back for 5, 6, 7 years. And they come to Bangladesh, they can't even get a loan for 40, 50,000 taka to start their small business. So how do we address this problem? So remittance is coming on Bangladesh within Ami Prabashi very soon. With our remittance partners abroad and our local architecture partners as well. But we don't want to just do remittance. We want to do credit rating. We want to show that this person is capable of, one, earning income, and two, looking after that income responsibly, so that when he comes back to Bangladesh, he has a credit file, he has a risk input that we can verify, and then give him either more loans or give him other job opportunities in Bangladesh. And BRAC is working with us very closely on this, is the returnee migrant data. Once they return, how do we help them? How do we give them accreditation for loans, for job opportunities, for businesses?
How long does somebody typically stay abroad for? I mean,
around 3 years.
About 3 years. So they're going, working for 3 years and then coming back and then.
The funny thing is, Sam, when we first started, the day we launched, we got 40,000 users. But none of them were from Bangladesh. They were all from Saudi Arabia, because our name, literal translation, means I am an expatriate. So these people thought that this is for them who are already abroad. But they're also using the app. So why are they using the app? Because even if you're abroad, you are looking to switch jobs. Maybe you want to go to Dubai. Maybe you want to go somewhere else. So these people are sitting in another country, in Saudi Arabia, on Ami Prabashi, looking for other opportunities. So that's what I mean. 3 years they're working there. They want to go somewhere else. Maybe they want to go to Italy. Maybe now they have more training certifications and they want to change their job, look for better opportunities.
Yeah, so more experience.
Absolutely.
More worldly global experience. Yeah.
No, but if I was a migrant that went to say the UAE and I want to look at a different opportunity in a different country, the current process is pretty bureaucratic, right? I have to come back, go through this paperwork process all over again, reapply. That sounds like a big problem as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So people can be placed to jobs from whichever country they're in. And the sooner we do the online, say to get another job, they need another clearance from this ministry. Mm-hmm. If they can do that online, they don't have to come back to Bangladesh. Yeah. They can go from Dubai to Saudi Arabia.
Yep, saving money and time, of course.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff.
So just a quick question. How long, 2 questions actually. What percentage of you said 1.4 million users you have, I think, right?
4.5.
4.5 million users using the app, yeah. Right?
Yes.
What percentage of them have you been able to recruit? Have they been migrated? What percentage of the 4.5 million? And what's the average timeline it takes from the time they apply for a job to the time they actually leave the country?
Yeah, so I'm not going to be very specific about these numbers at the moment as our own internal company policy, but I would say that in terms of the products being used, so out of our 4.5 million people who have downloaded the app and used the app, nearly 2 million of them have completed a service called BMET registration. Not nearly, more than 2 million people. So that's half the people who have used one service of Ami Prabashi. They paid the fees, they entered the data bank, they're within Ami Prabashi, they've used BMET registration. Another 600,000 has done pre-departure orientation. So in terms of the use case of Ami Prabashi, hundreds of thousands and millions of people are currently using Ami Prabashi. In terms of job placements, we don't know the exact figure of how many jobs have been secured via Ami Prabashi, but we know the basic savings of using Ami Prabashi to get a job. And it's nearing $600 to $1,000.
Per person?
Per person.
So they're saving $1,000, cutting out all the middlemen, all the bureaucracy, going straight through your app. That's incredible.
Yeah, so if you use Ami Prabashi start to finish, you're going to save nearly $600 to $1,000.
With some more questions, because I have a few more on the business side of things, right? So, Namir, I think that, what you are doing is remarkable. You're helping out people, but how do you guys make money? Are you guys taking a fee for these processes? is there? Like, what's the business model for the platform?
Yeah, so it's twofold, actually it's threefold. So first, all the government processes, we have unique service agreements with the government, whereas once they complete the processes, we get a service fee. Just like, for example, Shohoj will do for rail lines or something else. So we get a on-top service fee for every government process that they complete. So that has been our main revenue stream for this current product line. And then we have value-added services coming in as well. For example, the recruiting agency portal subscription model, our portal subscription model. And then we have pure value-added services like remittance, insurance, health, medical booking, telemedicine. These are all kind of downstream value-added services. So we're a marketplace. We're a marketplace for anything Probashis might need. And in future, we want the Amir Probashi app to facilitate any kind of product placement that a Probashi might need, from flight tickets to insurance to maybe having a new air condition delivered to your house while you're abroad.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
And obviously you have been monetizing from day one because you are, with the government, we see and also because of the huge demand, like you said, 40,000 in day one users. So they're also paying for that subscription to actually look for jobs or find the right jobs.
Yeah,
right?
we're proud of that, but it's not the monetization that is most impressive to us. Is actually what the pivotal service that we were able to provide during the time of COVID. So when COVID first started, the government made a policy that they're going to give priority vaccines to people who are going to work abroad, as they're the ones leaving and they need the vaccine. But there was no way to distinguish who is leaving and who's not. So Amir Probashi stepped in. And because of our BMET registration service, anyone who did the BMET registration with the visa information and everything, we gave them a unique number for their priority vaccination, which was then linked up with Shuraka. Mm. And we got to deploy priority vaccination for more than 1 million people via the app.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
We're proud of those things. And we did that entire thing completely free of cost. So those are important milestones for us as a company to kind of align with the vision of me and my partner when we started, that is it a platform where we can deliver help very quickly? And that's how it's shaping up to be.
That's fantastic. How big is the team? Are you guys,
at the moment, there's altogether nearly 80 of us, I'd say. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's phenomenal growth.
Yeah.
In just such a very, very short amount of time. And for you personally, what would have been some of the biggest challenges that you faced trying to scale this business? I mean, I could imagine, that there's probably a lot of, journey mapping and figuring out these bureaucracies. What's really kind of stuck out for you as kind of, areas of, big challenges?
So the main thing is the pushback you get from the status quo. So there's obviously an inbuilt system that has operated for 30, 40 years in Bangladesh, and to kind of turn that on its head is very difficult. So be it the government, be it the recruiting agencies, everyone is stuck in their way of doing something. So to go there, convince them, make sure to allow them to understand that this is a better, quicker, more efficient process, that has been the hardest challenge. And, the bureaucracy moves very slowly, but we've been lucky that they've also been very supportive as well. I think Bangladesh has this air now that there needs to be change. There needs to be change within every sector, within every industry that we have. And thankfully, the bureaucracy has been supportive, and we keep performing to showing them that, the change is coming slowly. We're not disrupting completely, but it is going towards some kind of disruption. So those are our major pushbacks. And another thing is to kind of embed trust that I was talking about before. That I don't want someone using Amir Probashi to give it to their son for them to complete the process for them. For me, that would be a failure, right? Like, you're the one going abroad, you're going to like a local shop, or you're giving it to your son so that he can fill up the forms and everything. For me, that's like, okay, our UI is not good enough. Our process is not clean enough. It's not easy enough. And we're actually thinking of onboarding some of our services on like feature phones. So even if you have a feature phone, you can just type or call, and then we're going to do the services for you.
Yeah.
So our challenges is to make sure everyone can use it easily. Our next big challenge is to make sure all the foreign recruiting agencies on board And that needs a huge marketing drive, and our product needs to be perfect so people know exactly how to use it from the get-go. Like, it's very easy for me to go train local recruiting agencies how to use it, local training centers how to use it, but we can't obviously go around the world training everyone. So our product has to be perfect. Our software, our recruitment management system has to be perfect. And it's the first of its kind in the world. So we're working on it.
And you said you're partnered with BRAC, is that right? BRAC is
we are partnered with BRAC. We have a unique
largest NGO in Bangladesh, correct?
Yeah, so we have loads of BRAC services coming on. We have some cool things happening with BRAC. So the BRAC Returnee Migrant Form is coming on. So Amir Prabashi has this product called BMET Clearance Smart Card. So for the last 10, 20 years, people had to print out these physical smart cards before they could exit the airport. Now we have completely digitized it. They can do it from their phone. They get a QR code that they just scan at the airport and leave. And pretty soon you'll see that airports don't have as much queues as they did of migrant workers. They'd have to queue up. So we've kind of streamlined that process for them online. And once they come back to the country, they just scan that card again, and BRAC gets all that information to place them at jobs, to place them at like loan skill-based programs. They have a huge returnee migrant program. So we're like feeding them the data so they can utilize it and give them products and services.
That's amazing.
You're doing great work, man.
Yeah.
Hats off to you. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I really hope that you're able to overcome those challenges, get more foreign recruitment agencies on board. I think, like you said at the start of this, Bangladeshi workers are very smart. I've been here for 20 years and I love my team and people that I work with. I completely agree with you. And so this is, I think, something that needs to be promoted. It's going to help Bangladesh. It's going to help people of Bangladesh. I'm really supportive of you, Namir. Thank you so much for being on here and the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Nabila. And just to kind of, before we end it, what's important for us is that the foreign recruiting agencies know that there's a clean, efficient way to recruit from Bangladesh. And we're going to tag them with the best recruiting agencies. We're going to tag them with the best performers in Bangladesh who are sending really cool, skilled people who are efficient, they're professional. And we want Bangladesh to be the hub of foreign recruitment. And we want to play a small part in making sure that happens and continues to happen.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you're already contributing so much. And as you said, it's not about the monetization. It's about improving and changing people's lives for the better. And collectively, with all the bureaucracy that's out there, you're still pushing forward and making, the technology with the app, with the portal, you're redefining and refining the way that migrant workers have been going abroad for generations now. And I'm very, very honored and proud to do this interview and do this webinar so that the world can see, and also Bangladeshis can see, and also the global recruitment agencies and companies can see that, that there is so much, there's so much synergy between the technology and what's happening with the migrant workers, and in such an easy and seamless way that not only improves lives, changes it for the better economic future for not only Bangladesh, but also the foreign countries, because our workers are also providing value wherever they're going. And it's actually a very, very beautiful thing to see. And we'll stay, and hopefully very many good things with Amir Prabashi will come forward. So I'm very thankful.
Thank you so much, Nabila. I invite you both to our offices to come hang out with us one day.
Love it. Love it.
Love it.
Love to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.